1 mile. It's legacy, a beat that don't stop like Bob Marley said. One love on top. These sewage water out of sight, but it's always wrong, don't lose the light. From factories and wells so deep, corrupts one goes and fish they weep. Grey water for the garden, keep it green. Save the cash and the earth gets clean. We use the water with a mindful mind. It's out of sight but never far behind. In nature, the answers always flow. Like water running pure, the cycle grows. It renews itself, same drop, same beat. It's all good, man, you got the heat. Water flow. No clean water, no vibes we grow. Protect our water, protect our future.
Time to go.
Time and I write down all the things that I love on my island. Best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song.
The cleanest breeze on the waters.
Friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for.
Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. We're going higher. 50 years we're blessed, we're forged in fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 up. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up. We're going higher. From the people who came through sugar and change, emancipation, the revolution. We are. Hold on, let's make up on the globe. We are. More than the ice cream and gold. We are. Much more than the nutmeg and the clove. Tell the world we are Grenadians too.
3 islands united as one. Blessed with the strength to carry on. We're more than just that island in the sun. Tell the world we are
Grenadians. 50 years we're blessed with force and fire. Oh, you mean? We going up, going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Yes, fire. Build advances, want people together. Can't find the words to describe what my country mean to me. So much things we take for granted, but so much things they give to me.
Peace and tranquility, family, community. You no matter where we go in the world, just know that home is where my heart is.
50 years, as you strive for 50 more, as you strive to reach your goal, like you're on your break the goal.
I can see the vision clear. Sing it out to let the people hear.
Strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. Show me up from here. 1 more, more. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. Show me up from here. 1 more, more. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're strong and more to come, more to come, more to come. 50 years we're str
me say a pleasant good morning to our listeners and viewers of course, listeners of Classic Radio, viewers of GBN TV. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Thursday, the 8th day of January 2026. Good morning to one and all, especially those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning and welcome. Nice to have you. Let me say good morning to my guest. I think it's actually the first time I'm having you on my program, sir. With Commissioner Randy Connaught. Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, GTA.
Yeah. And it's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here, sir.
And you first one was calling me by my name, GT. I like that. Yeah. It's not my name, but I could.
I was actually shocked to call you GT this morning.
Good morning and welcome. Let's say good morning also to ACP Vannie Curwin. Good morning to you, sir.
Hi, good morning to you, morning to your listeners, and I'm just happy to be back.
All right, man. Well, Happy New Year to both of you. And of course, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. What a wonderful way to kick it off. Having, of course, the rank and file of the RHPF on the program this morning. It's certainly a pleasure to have you folks on the program. A few weeks ago, was it before the new year kicked in, or was it so? You were, of course, had a press conference. Talk about all that, the happenings within the RGPF, plans for the future. 2025, if I could start off in that particular way, how was it for the RGPF? In terms of the overall operations of the RGPF, the pros, the cons, everything in between there, we could get was moving in that direction.
Certainly, sir. First of all, let me take the opportunity to wish each and every Grenadian, whether home and abroad, a very happy New Year. Looking forward to greater collaboration with the RGPF. Certainly, 2025 has been an incredible one. I must say thank you. Thank you for your service to each and every police officer, support staff, who has been an integral part of our successes for the year 2025. And I say so with, great humility. It was an exciting period for me, given the fact that I celebrated 1 year as acting commissioner, and having had the responses and support from not just the man and woman on the ground working the beat, but obviously the executive staff. We had the retirees kicking in, former commissioners, and of course our regional and international partners, together with all of the communities across this island. And I want to reinforce that all of the communities, including the corporate community. It has been an incredible year, and I would want to take us through some of the successes. Now, it was one of the most successful years so far, given the fact that my colleague here, ACP Vannie Curwin, who is responsible for crimes, in our initial discussions and planning going into 2025, we had set some very ambitious targets, because we had to do what we call a gap analysis, examine 2024, our strengths, our weaknesses, and obviously we saw the potential, we saw the opportunities, and what we did is to align ourselves, given that we had to do a bit of capacity building, resource acquisition, and also deepen the collaboration between our stakeholders, public and regional and international stakeholders. So all that was done in preparation to the anticipated successes of 2025. We set a very ambitious target to solve 80% of all crimes reported. Mr. Curwin, from what I'm seeing so far, and he's looking good to providing a report sometime in the not too distant future, because we're actually computing the data now. Okay. I think we can safely say that we passed the 80%.
All right.
I don't want to I won't say hold my breath on it, because I'm that confident. Right. Certainly that confident.
All right.
So 2025 was a year where we had some ambitious targets, as I indicated, and it was heavily focused on strengthening our public safety and improving our operations and aligning ourselves with international best practices in law enforcement. So certainly we have achieved that, to the extent that today, at the end of 2025, down from the numbers we had in 2024, we only had 10 homicides, regrettably so, but certainly this is what we aspire to do: reduce crime in all respects, and to improve police community collaboration. Certainly we had many trying periods. Obviously it tested our resolve. We had the Afro-Caribbean Trade Investment Forum. We had cricket matches, international cricket matches. We had the safest Spice Mass ever this country has experienced, to the extent that it is my understanding that you cannot find any accommodation for 2026 in Grenada. It's already sold out, and that is a fact. I think that this is what is being reported generally right now. We had Christmas, no major incident for Christmas. And the confidence in law enforcement officers, because just this morning with our public relations consultant, I was actually in a conversation with him because I had to measure some of the complaints coming back, because feedback is a great tool for us. We are policing for the benefit of the citizens, not for the benefit of each and every one of us. Our mandate is clear: to serve and to protect. And crime prevention is our major responsibility. When something happens and we have to detect, and even if we are successful, it is not quite comforting, because we are allowed for a crime to be committed. And I say we, it's not the police, we the people. Yeah. So seeing something and saying something is critically important to each and every one of us, because we don't do this alone. Much of our benefits come from the support and cooperation from the citizens out there. I was in all smiles when we had some serious incidents, and very doubtful of the pace at which we were going to resolve those issues. And when I heard persons from CID and other units within the divisions also telling me, "So, we got this one." Okay. And in less than 24 hours, we solved these matters. CID no longer ascribed to the first 48. Yes, we used to hear a lot about the first 48. They say, no, we don't know about this anymore. The first 24 is what we work with.
How does that make you feel, sir?
What? Words cannot explain how I'm feeling. Certainly, how the organization gels now, it is taking it to the next level. And I just want to make the point here too. It is not our doing. The investment was progressive. Right. We had previous commissioners who set the tone, and I always would want to recognize and give respect for those who laid the charge before us. So the progression continues. We had, in recent time, started Commissioner Martin. Yes. He was a sticker for excellence. Taking over from him was Commissioner Mackenzie, and he's the one that held my hands, together with Mr. Martin. But Mackenzie certainly knew that maybe at the end of the tunnel, the possibility of me being the one to acquire that seat actually brought me along with him. So I was shoulder to shoulder with him, and sometimes he said, "Listen, just observe and take note." Okay. So the progression was steady, and it was deliberate over the years. And we, myself, Mr. Curwin, the new executive with Deputy Prince, ACP Charles, and newly minted ACP Christopher, the responsibility is now on our shoulders, and we will be taking it to the next level. And I will speak to the outlook for 2026, so that persons can be mindful as to what they can expect from the RGPF. How did we get to those levels of achievement? So in addition to capacity building, because we invested heavily in that, quite a significant amount of resources was expended in developing the capacity of officers. We have to keep with the time, and time is moving ahead quite quickly, and we cannot dictate the pace of criminals. So we have to anticipate. We have to look for local and regional trends and how it fits into our own dynamics. So we did quite a bit of training, and it is ongoing and will be accelerated in 2026. Obviously, we have started. Mr. Curwin mentioned just yesterday and the day before, himself and I, in just speaking with you before the program, we were on a training program for public officers. That is also part of the broader government's responsibility and action plan to develop the capacity of public officers. Okay. So, and we are going to replicate that across the force. So we have specialist training going and start very soon. We have been examining our gray areas or growth areas, and on Monday we have the commencement of a fingerprint experts training. We have some officers to specialize. So we started last year with crimes in volume training in January. Now this January we're doing specialized training for fingerprint experts. We also have had a recruit course that started last year, and we have one course going back in this year to continue the training. Okay. We have had other training done locally here and regionally and internationally. So we have persons within these three circuits receiving training as we speak. And to date, I've had a number of offers for training, and we accept all training. Once they're fully sponsored, we don't ever say no. And we have seen the benefits of those training, and we align that now closely with the acquisition of modern policing tools and applications. Our digital forensics unit is one like none other. Can compare with any unit across the region, and might I add across the world. And we are building out in those capacities. Quite expensive, but the returns have been realized from since the initial first investment. So we're building out. You would have heard us speaking quite a lot about drone technology and the acquisition of drones, and building out our capacity to afford for aerial surveillance and support for our law enforcement efforts. We are not spies. This thing happens all over the world, and we use those as force multipliers. Can you imagine a police car trying to move from here to Granans to observe something, or to reach to an accident, or to get an appreciation as to what has happened in an accident? We can launch a drone, send it over to the scene, and while the officers are responding, we can have real-time information fed to them.
Yes.
We have an emergency, let's say a horse fell, it is in an area, somebody lost in the jungle. We have the capacity to get to these people, and even in some instances, to bring a bottle of water using those devices to drop it in, or some medication, whatever it is. So we are building out much of those technologies, obviously for security reasons, we cannot delve into the details, but the benefit is to the citizens of Grenada, and that is what I want to emphasize here quite strongly.
Okay, great.
So in a nutshell, this is what we're doing, what we have done, I should say, for 2025, and we will continue to build upon that, and where we are with our own officers, you may ask. We give in to the public and making sure that our mandate is fully satisfied, but we are men and women, human beings like anybody else, and we have been making significant sacrifices, and those sacrifices, by and large, impacts on families. Mm-hmm. We are all for extended periods. There are times when detectives get what we call a break in a case just about the time they're supposed to go home on the day off. They cannot leave. A family has to lose out. A police officer cannot go to a PTC, Parent Teachers Conference at the school. He cannot attend special functions with the family. They have to sacrifice. And of course, we want to thank the families who have been making that sacrifice and understanding the call of a police officer. So we are looking towards developing and ensuring that our mental and physical state are in check. We spoke quite a lot about that last year, and the ambition going forward is to develop a health and wellness center where the mental and physical health of the police can be given even more focused attention. So there are plans for police officers in the mix, and certainly the issues of salaries and benefits diminishing quite a lot. We are actually in the negotiations period once again, and what we try to develop on going forward is ensuring that policing is seen at the forefront as a viable career and not a fallback plan. Today, in my discussions with the public relations officer, we're looking at crafting out the outlook for the RGPF. So when my team or our team goes out on a job fair and do a bit of job marketing, there are varying disciplines and areas of expertise in the police force that a student can, at the TAMCC level, can start preparing himself or herself, going into criminology, going into the sciences, even accounting.
Yes.
All those exist within the organization, and detectives can arise having those coming with those accolades into the organization. So certainly RGPF is accelerating in transition. We have started a long time ago, many years before, but however now with the advancement in technology, with the need for technical expertise, we are building out, and we are doing so at a very, very rapid pace. And all this has been supported by the government. When we make a request and we provide justification, very often, if not in all cases, we receive favorable response. But obviously, we have to show that the requests that were made, the benefits to the people realized in short order, and we have been doing so. Hence the reason why we have had a very, very successful 2025. So I'll pause here initially in case you need to ask.
You know, I have listened to, of course, the successes you spoke of 2025, some of the major plans for 2026 thus far that you hope to implement and get rolling off. One of the key concerns has always been, you know, police visibility, especially within the communities and so. What are some of those major plans to improve that in 2026?
Our footprint definitely would improve. We just had 61, Mr. Curwin, recruits coming out of training school. So sufficient numbers were sent into the divisions, and the primary reason is because we have to increase the police footprint and engaging and be more engaging with the communities, might I say. Certainly, we respond to the cause of the people. Hence the reason why divisional commanders are tasked to go out into the communities, look at those gaps, see what the needs are, look at the crime trends, because what we do is to try to prevent crime even before they happen. Identify persons who may have underlying problems or individuals who have the propensity to commit crime. Link those concerns with that of the community, and obviously find avenues, because we don't have all of the answers. We don't have the recipe or the wherewithal to deal with all issues. Some of those we have to partner with other agencies, or we pass those on to agencies whose tasks are ready to deal with those issues. So we identify and we bring some level of relief within our mandate, and of course we transfer those issues to be dealt with by those other agencies and departments that has the mandate to deal with those. So you're quite right. Police visibility definitely leads to confidence, higher confidence, and the visibility is not just walking through, it has to be engaging, professionally engaging, and our levels of discretion obviously comes into play, because I always have to explain myself around when somebody calls to say, well, listen, the police lack discretion, but it is how it is applied, and sometimes without an understanding of the law and its implication of the action of the individual. I mean, obviously, I would never like to be charged by the police, but obviously, the police themselves have to know at least at what time and how reasonable discretion is, and how it aligns themselves with the duty, because you don't want to be seen as a police officer that can be taken as a man who goes out there just to waive everything that happens, because it can lead into a different thinking of the public. We have to be firm, polite, discretionate, and obviously deliberate in our actions to get to ensure that law and order is maintained.
All right.
But so far, I want to say that it is a work in progress, and the complaints have significantly reduced.
All right. You know, citizens from time to time will complain about, you know, police response time. You call the police and you get that delayed response. Sometimes you understand the reasons why I express transportation issues and so forth. As you mentioned, you know, new recruits are coming in and so forth, but they probably at a particular time there's not enough officers at a particular station in terms of the community that the incident will go. Are we going to be seeing in 2026 an improvement from you? I hope we could get a commitment from you, Commissioner, in terms of in improving on the response time, especially in certain situations that occur.
Understanding how we respond to crime is very critical. There are three protocols that we follow, or three methods of approach. We have the immediate, routine, and delayed response. And you assess every complaint. Some complaints, they might be very trivial, but given the historical nature of certain complaints, you know it can escalate in a flash. That is where having local knowledge of communities and individuals come into play. But responding in a very timely manner is obviously our main objective, ensuring that we bring law enforcement services at the scene as quick as possible. I think gone are the days where you would hear, and I'm hoping it's not happening, we don't have a transport. That is not the case. And obviously the numbers in terms of personnel, we are adequate in numbers. So you can see response time being shortened, and obviously the work of the police will be much more demanding going forward. But I think it is a work in progress, and we are endeavoring to ensure that response time is cut as short as reasonably possible. Yeah, so that is a guarantee from the organization. It is a work in progress, and we will work towards that. And whenever those disappointing moments are felt, we want to know about it. We want to know, because we have to ensure that at the end of the day, our service delivery is meeting the expectations of the citizens.
All right. I want to also ask you this. This is of like recent developments. In response to that feedback or that heightened security advisory that has been put out by the U.S., where in terms of getting us to a level 2. How does the police, the RGPF, feel in reference to that? And it also mentioned a whole lot in terms of the reduce in the crime reporting and stuff like that. Tell us in relation to that. How does the RGPF feel about in reference to that?
Very good question. I don't think I've heard a formal response from the state, because I would want to allow first for policymakers, because this is an advisory that affects citizens, and I don't think yet the state has made an official pronouncement on that. But what I want to say, some of what was mentioned in terms of incidents, and I think specific references were made, and I want to just address those specific references. Okay. In every case, Mr. Curwin, correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to be absolutely correct here. Those references in terms of the specific crimes that were mentioned, less than 48 hours. Remember I spoke about the 48 hours mantra, the new mantra?
You didn't mention.
In less than 48 hours in all those cases, though regrettable as it was for those crimes to have been committed, the police solved those crimes. Every individual was arrested. To the extent that I think some of those matters have been completed in court and results given. In one particular case, the individual was caught even before the police got to the scene. That is how quick it was. So those pronouncements, with respect to those specific issues, yes, actually surprised me. But data don't lie. And when we compute all data at the end of the year, and it is presented, the public will see. But I don't think people should panic, because you and I know you live in Grenada, and I don't think you need any evidence to support that we are about the safest country in the region, if not the safest.
I would agree with you on that, sir.
But certainly, I've been weighing in on some of the commentary, but I would want to first allow for the executive arm of the state to respond to that. I am at the lower level at RGPA, but so I can only speak from within our mandate. Okay. But I think by and large, the matter will be fully ventilated, and of course, I hope for the best, and I hope that the advisory or the caution that is placed on Grenada is withdrawn sooner rather than later.
All right, and I know citizens will be happy to certainly hear that. We drew for a break. Let's take it, and when we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the break. Don't touch it.
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
granddaughter.
To 2026, we're committed to elevating Grenada's presence on the global stage. Our integrated tactical focus includes media relations, travel trade engagement, sales activation, and digital campaigns. These efforts are designed to ensure visibility and establish leadership in our niche pillar marketing. We invite you to join us on this journey by supporting our initiatives and sharing the beauty of our tri-island state with the world. Together, we can make 2026 a year of growth and success for our islands. Whether you're a local stakeholder, a travel enthusiast, or someone who simply loves Grenada, your involvement is crucial to our success. Thank you for your continued support. Let's make 2026 a year to remember.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. Once again, this is the point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. And of course, I want to, maybe I should take the time to apologize for, of course, Commissioner, of course, Connaught having to leave. Of course, I want to take the time to apologize for that, but he have another pressing matter that he has to attend to, so he has to leave us a little before time. Promise to be back with us, hopefully soon on the program once again. So we have ASP, of course, Vannie Curwin with us this morning, and we're going to continue the conversation. ASP Vannie Curwin, once again, I want to talk a wee bit in reference to accountability and public trust. This is an important, bit of the conversation. Now, how does the police force handle in terms of complaints against officers, and how transparent is that process per se?
All right, thank you again, GT, and I think you have already made the excuse for Commissioner having to run off. He has another engagement. I was happy to have him here with me this morning, and it's regrettable we couldn't spend the time together discussing matters of national security issues. To get to your specific question, outside of public trust and public confidence, we cannot and will not talk about solving crimes. We cannot talk about safety and security, because we cannot do this by ourselves as the RGPF. And so the bridge between the police and the public must be one that is straight, well paved, and well railed, so that people can cross from either side. And so we believe in the public. We have our successes is had mainly because of the confidence that the public have put in us. And so whenever there are complaints against police officers, we have our internal system that is set up, and I'll just take a few minutes to go through it. Our community relations department is charged with investigating all complaints against police officers. They have the investigators, they do the investigation, they submit a file to me, because that department is under my charge. Based on the recommendation and the findings of the investigation, we send that file to the Director of Public Prosecution so that he makes a determination as to where the matter goes. So when you see a police officer is charged criminally, that decision doesn't rest with us within the police force alone. For transparency, we chose not to make those decisions ourselves, because we're not set up like some other countries where you have independent investigators for the police force. In the region, we most of the countries do not have that, and in Grenada we don't have that, so we investigate ourselves. And by doing that, people tends to cast aspersions, in terms of the transparency, the honesty, and the integrity of our process. But I can tell you from where I sit, I have no problems at all with it. Because as I speak, we have police officers who are currently at a magistrate's prison. We have police officers who are currently on bail. We have police officers who are currently awaiting trial. And so we don't make the decision. What we do to ensure that the system is safe and credible is to make sure that we pass all of those investigations to the Director of Public Prosecution. He is our independent filter in terms of determining who gets charged or how we treat with each police officer. There are times he would say this particular matter reaches the threshold of a criminal charge, and we do that. And then there are times he would say it doesn't reach the threshold of a criminal charge, and so you can use your own internal disciplinary proceedings to deal with the particular police officers, and that is what we do. So we charge you internally as we would charge you for the court. Yeah. We ask the witnesses to come in before our own tribunal system that is set up, and we have a hearing. If you're found guilty, the penalty is as harsh as it can be in the court. The only difference is that we do not have the ability to send you to prison, but we have the ability to dismiss you. We have the ability to reduce you in rank. We have the ability to take some of your earnings for a period of time if the infringement warrants us doing that. And I think we have had great success in this field. In that field, there are a number of members of the public who have expressed their satisfaction, having given evidence in our internal tribunal, and being satisfied with the sentence that has been passed. We continue to build out on that because trust has to be the mantra of us going forward. If the public is not with us, well, we're not going anyway because we can't get it by ourselves. All right.
I also want to follow up on that by asking, what would you say to citizens who feels a little bit or is hesitant, to report misconduct sometimes from officers that they may come into contact with in terms of different situations? What would you say to citizens in relation?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I don't want to open myself up to receive a lot of these complaints, but I'll tell you what I've done in the past. I've met people who said, listen, I have an issue with a particular police officer, but I don't feel comfortable going to a police station. I don't feel comfortable going to the community relations department, for whatever reason they may have. And I would say to these people, if you feel wronged, you need to have that wrong addressed. So if it means that you can come and have a sit with me, I will sit with you. Okay. I'll take your complaint and I'll pass it to the relevant department to get it investigated. As I'm saying, this is not something I'm going to open up myself to, but at the end of the day, we have to serve everybody. And for various reasons, people may not feel comfortable going to a police station or going to the CRD for whatever reasons, bias, concerns that they may have. But at the end of the day, it is our duty to ensure that we address all complaints made against police officers. So whatever it takes to get your complaint across, I would say do that. Even if it means coming and sit with me, asking for an audience with the commissioner, asking for an audience with the deputy commissioner, asking for an audience with the divisional commander. So if you don't feel comfortable at the lower level and it's something that needs to be addressed wherever you feel comfortable, seek that attention. We have not shied away and turned anybody away from seeing them.
Great. And I'm sure there are listeners or viewers who may have had issues of that nature, and I may have happy to hear the manner in which you suggested in terms of how they move forward in terms of that.
Actually, let me add this because if you don't come forward and there is a rogue police officer and you choose not to do anything, you are now complicating the situation. You're complicit in the continued action of that police officer, because what he may do against you, if you don't address it or it is not addressed, he may do it against somebody else. So sometimes it's not because you want to see somebody punished, but because you want a better Grenada, a better police force, a more transparent police force. Principle is principle, and sometimes it's not about you, but it's about the bigger picture.
Of course. I want to switch the conversation a wee bit. I want to talk about traffic engagement, traffic enforcement, every way you want to put it in that particular way. Road fatalities continues to be, trouble in the nation. So for various reasons. Are we going to get tough enough on reckless and drunk drivers, sir? Let's talk about that.
Interesting question. In fact, not too long ago, a couple of years ago, we have again procured some breathalyzer, the machines, and we have arrested and charged a few people. I know a number of people who have lost their license for driving drunk. 2026, Commissioner, well, he's not here. He has mandated, and we as the executive have decided that more efforts is going to go into road traffic management for 2026. Not only the drunk driving. You've seen lights. You've seen vehicles with lights that look as Christmas trees. Yeah. You see vehicle with lights that the color of the lights is not consistent with the manufacturing of the vehicle. You've seen vehicle that it drives on our road as though that, they're a disco. Yeah. All of these we are earmarked for enforcement all in 2026 and for the whole of 2026. We usually set strategic direction at the start of every year. For 2025, we focused on solving most of our crime. Commissioner mentioned it, 80% of our crime. For 2026, the focus will be on road traffic management. So we are coming hard. Defective tires, broken number plates, lights that are all over the place that is not consistent with the manufacturers. And people are saying, well, I bought the vehicle like that. I brought the vehicle into Grenada like that. But let me say what the law says. If the vehicle was not manufactured that way, whether you bring it out of Japan, England, or America, if it is not consistent with the manufacturer's guideline, it is illegal. And
getting information on these on vehicles of that nature is
this is pretty easy.
Is 1, 2, 3.
This is pretty easy. We've heard people say,
longer we have to wonder.
That's right.
Terms of
that's right.
Technology.
Because if you use the vehicle in Japan as an example, and you change off the lights and you buy it from Japan like that, it came into the country like that. Question is, was it manufactured that way? Yeah. And it's easy, as you're indicating, it's easy for you to know how any vehicle is manufactured or what parts or component parts of these that are on these vehicles when they were manufactured. So in 2026, you're going to see heavy enforcement on traffic management.
But why do we sometimes see enforcement seem to appear one week and then it's absent the next?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because we are a small force. Yeah. Concentration on one particular area for a prolonged period is almost impossible.
Well, consistency is the key also, see.
Right. Consistency is the key. In fact, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here now. Because of what you just asked, we can't be there every day doing the same thing. There are times that we're going to have heightened period that we will call Traffic Fridays. That's a plan that we have for 2026, where a particular Friday in every month there'll be national traffic engagement, not only in the St. George's, the St. Andrews or St. John's, across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. Those strategies are being built in to help us deal with what we can do consistently on the road. So if we have a national traffic Friday where from early in the morning to late in the evening, wherever you're going, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique, you're going to see a police. Because what some people do is that there's a traffic check in St. George's, and then, they relay among themselves saying, don't come to St. George's, the police on the road. But mind you, whether you go to St. John's, St. Mark's, St. Andrew, on that day, you will still meet us. Okay. Yeah, so that is how we hoping to do that.
You spoke, of course, Commissioner, a while ago, of course, spoke a lot about technology, sir. In how is technology going to help improve the traffic situation and the road facilities and everything that we see happening? Such as the speed cameras. You spoke about in 2026. Yes, we're going to have improving the checkpoints and so forth. Part of the solution is that going to be part of the solution going forward? The use of technology?
Well, technology is already bailing us out in a number of areas where road traffic management is concerned. We have a program now. We, as Commissioner indicated, we fly our drones on busy mornings. Yeah. That tells us ahead of time what road likely will be congested and how we can divert and where we can, what diversion we can do. So we are already using technology to assist. And more technology will come in 2026. In fact, there is a program that should have been on stream now for a couple of years, where you roll out of CCTV in major towns on almost every pole. That helps in a number of ways. It helps us to catch those who will violate traffic laws. It will help us to solve crime in general. It's something that is very prevalent in England and has been responsible for the crime reduction in quite a large way. So in 2026, we're hoping that we can have those CCTV here. Each of our traffic light has a camera in them.
Yes.
Each traffic light has a camera in them. Those have not yet been activated to give us real-time data. So we're going to, in 2026, yes, we're hoping that we're going to get those activated. And in addition to those, there are over 300 cameras waiting to be put up in public spaces so that we can police better, both for traffic management and for criminal activities. So 2026 should be a watershed year for us, both on the traffic front and on the criminal front.
All right, great. Lovely to hear that. Another point I want to get into, and I get your perspective on youth crime and prevention. You know, we've seen the younger faces, from time to time, they link to crime. At the point where does policing end and social intervention need to take over? Is the police force actively working on schools, parents, the communities to prevent first-time offenders per se?
Interesting. And I want to take my time in answering these questions because far too often we get involved when it's too late. There need to be a lot of preventative measures. Incursion happening much earlier than police involvement. And so there is a need for the police to work closer with social development, community groups, schools, to be able to assist these young people before they offend. We get involved most of the time after these people have offended. So in some way, shape or form, society is failing our young people. And I'll say that boldly here. We are involved in almost all of the schools across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique. We're involved in a number of community groups and so forth. But for the most part, when we show up, it's RGPF. Yeah. But we are law enforcement. We are not social services. We are not social development. We are not the churches. It seems to me that the church become a Sunday morning institution because we don't see them in areas that we believe there needs to be. Young people need more than the police. Young people need society to surround them. Young people need a support group. Young people need, psychosocial support. The police are not trained to do that. And so more of the churches need to be involved. More of the community need to be involved. More of social development need to be involved. More social group need to be involved. We are failing our young people. And unless and until we all realize that and have some preventative measures in place, police will forever have to be coming in on the back end. We do it because, as I say, we don't see the others are showing up and we care for our young people. We love our young people and we're going to continue to do what we can do to assist them. But what we are trained to do, law enforcement. So by and large, we can only speak what we know. You see, we don't have the means, the avenue, the training, the expertise to be able to provide that sort of counseling, that sort of guidance, I remember the time as a youngster when we used to have truancy officers for schools. They are still there as far as I know. But the integration of the police and all these other entities is something that needs to be worked on and better 2026.
I have another question that is of concern. We know recently there's been other promotions within the RGPF. Something that I have noticed is that I have seen officers who may feel a bit disgruntled of not receiving promotions. And I was a bit taken aback by some of them we see go via social media and making comments and so forth. Is that something that the force is concerned about in terms of officers doing that? And what is the usual process that goes through in terms of promotions?
Right, so let me answer the first part first. We are currently developing a social media policy because we don't like the idea that while everybody has the right to free speech and everything, we are a disciplined organization and there are avenues to channel grievances within the Royal Grenada Police Force. So this is not something that we accept, and we've just drafted a media policy that's going to come out within the force, and you will be seeing people being held accountable for their actions in doing that. But let me talk a little bit about the promotion because I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. I've had a lot of calls. In fact, even this morning on coming here, I had a few messages of people who wanted to go to court and people. Let me just say this for the benefit of all. The promotion that we have just had was consistent to the promotion regulation of 2021. That's a new piece of legislation. What the legislation says, it set up a number of parameters that police officers need to go through. One of them is a written exam, one is an interview. It's about 4 or 5 steps that are into it. These activities are weighted, and then you are on a list. We've had over 300 constables successfully completing this process.
Yeah.
We do not have 300 vacancies. So you're ranked on a particular list. So if there are only 20 vacancies, the first 20 people get promoted. The thing is, the remainder of the people stays on the list for 4 years.
Okay.
When 4 years come, if you did not get promotion, you have to start the cycle all over again. Within that 4 years, there is no guarantee if you're on that list, you're going to get promoted, because that will be determined by the amount of vacancies that is existing at the time. In addition to that, there is a section 15 of the law that gives the commissioner the prerogative to make promotion in special cases. And I think the legislature see through that very well. And that piece of that section is well crafted, because we have people in our maids who doesn't exist. The police officers who doesn't exist, if you understand what I mean by that.
I'm getting
so how do you ask these people to come to an examination room with 300 people? You don't exist. You're not known. You're not even known by... I don't even know half of the people who should not be known.
Yeah.
There has to be a way to promote these people outside of the standardized promotion procedure. And so Section 15 gives Commissioner the right to make promotion in special cases that will include these people. Some of the grievances I've heard is that, oh, this person's working hard and that person's working hard. And I always ask the question, did they do the exam? Did they go through the process? A lot of the people who are on social media did not write the exam, did not participate in the process. But people say, oh, well, he's working hard, and that might be true. I know a number of police officers who are hard working, but we have to be transparent and have to be fair. If you did not do the exam and you're hard working, you must come under the Section 15, where Commissioner can say, here is a case where I can promote you in special circumstances. Question is, do you have what it takes to fall under that section? You may have people who are qualified in a particular field, they're expert in a particular field. They did not do the exam. But for that field to perform, you need a structure. In that case, Commissioner can say, you did not do the exam, but because of where you are, the expertise that you have, I'm going to promote you. And the law gives him the authority to do that. So I've seen people say, but some people did not do the exam and they get promoted. Yes, because the law allows for that. Section 15 of the police promotion regulation allows for the Commissioner to make promotion in special cases. It's not who he likes or who he feels to promote. He has to justify that decision. So those who are aggrieved, I'll ask the question again, did you do the exam? Because that is what's going to get you on the list. And if you're on the list and you did not get a promotion, the question is, where are you on the list? I've seen people who are 151, 200 and something. So I'm on the list. I passed the exam and I'm not promoted. Yeah, but if you're 250 on the list and we only have vacancies for 75 people, why are you arguing not getting a promotion? So what do you want us to do? Omit all of the people ahead of you and promote you at 250? That's not going to be fair. I am confident that the process was transparent, the process was fair. This is the third iteration of this promotion. Mr. Commissioner Martin started it. That was the first one we had under the new law. Commissioner Mackenzie continued it, so he picked up with Mr. Martin. So if you did not get a promotion from Mr. Martin and you remain on that list, which you should have, then going down, if you're within the vacancies, you get a promotion. And if that didn't happen, Commissioner Connaught now in this last promotion picks up from where Mr. Mackenzie left out, and that list continues. Now that list has come to an end. The 4-year cycle is complete. So everybody knows who is on that list. That list is now abandoned. You have to go through that process all over again to get yourself on the list for the next 4 years. So hard working alone doesn't get you a promotion in the RGPF. We have a promotion policy, and you have to take part in it.
Well, thank you for the explanation, sir. And I certainly hope members of the public may understand the process themselves. No. We drew for a break. Let's take it. Of course, we're almost running out of time. I also give the opportunity to our listeners and viewers the option to maybe ask you a question or two. But I do have another question or two I may like to ask. But we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us, folks. Don't touch it out.
Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique are known as the spice of the Caribbean, offering a blend of authenticity and adventure. Our unique selling points include pristine beaches, lush rainforests, rich cultural heritage, and vibrant festivals. These elements create a tapestry of experiences that awaken the senses and invite travelers to explore the beauty of our islands. We're also keeping an eye on industry trends like personalization, sustainability, wellness, and tech-enabled journeys. Personalization allows us to create bespoke experiences tailored to individual preferences, while sustainability ensures that our tourism practices preserve the environment and benefit local communities. Wellness travel is on the rise, with visitors seeking relaxation and rejuvenation, and technology is enhancing the travel experience through AI-powered trip planning and virtual reality previews. By embracing these trends, we can ensure that our offerings remain appealing and relevant to travelers around the world.
Thank you for following our stories, updates, and programming throughout the year. We look forward to your continued trust and support in 2026 and beyond. On behalf of the team at GBN, I am Deidre Seeley, wishing you happy holidays.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. I want to say, SP Curwin, thanks. Welcome back also to today's edition of To The Point. We're going to allow I see the phones already going, but before we take, I have one more question that I want to throw at you, sir, before we accept the calls from our listeners and viewers this morning. What is your message to law-abiding citizens who feels unsafe and frustrated at times? Can the public do a genuine assisting the police in keeping community safe?
Yeah, and we are.
It's probably a two-part question, but I would really like to get that.
We are assisting them in doing that. In fact, we have just set up a hotline that you could communicate your concerns to us without. You can remain anonymous in doing that. We don't want to know who you are, where you're from, etc., etc. Anything that you see that you want us to know, you have an avenue now to let us know. If you don't feel safe, you can tell us why. If there are issues in your community, there are some people in the community who may want to tell us something, but for fear that we may say they say. In that case, you don't even have to tell us who you are. We're not going to ask you where you're calling us from, and we're not tracking your number. And we were careful to do that. In fact, when we launched this, we want to make it clear because we don't want people to think, well, you're saying we don't have to identify ourselves, but what if you capturing our number so you know who we are? So we're going to be transparent about this. We're going to be open about this when we're doing that. There are a lot of law-abiding citizens that want to help us more than they are currently doing. But interesting to note, we are helped tremendously by our law-abiding citizens. When a crime is committed, I get video feeds on my phone from people's home, from people's businesses. I don't want to know who you are. I just want to make sure that the video you're giving me is consistent to the crime or the accident that has just committed. The fatal accident we had on the Maurice Bishop Highway not too long ago. Within seconds of that incident happening, I had the video feed from a private citizen who wanted me to have it as part of our investigation. So there are a lot of law-abiding citizens that helps us. When a crime is committed, people are saying to us, people are tripping over themselves to say, listen, you can come and look at my camera. You can come and look at my camera. Sometimes we have to be refused. Okay, you know what? We get the feed already, thanks. So I think there is more people who are law-abiding that want to help than those who are always bashing, negative, and, have this kind of standoffish attitude with law enforcement is concerned. So I want to take the opportunity, GT, to say thanks to all of our law-abiding citizens that assist law enforcement in one way or the other in helping Grenada continue to remain safe. All right. Thank you so much for that. 4352041, and I ask, of course, because we have limited time, I will ask, of course, your callers when you call in, be very brief with your question. Maybe I may limit it to just one question per caller so that we could, of course, accommodate as many callers as possible. Caller number one. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Yeah, morning, GT, and morning to your guests, your esteemed guests. I want to concur with him in terms of when he said that the society is failing our youth. As someone who have a background in community and social development, I can see the pain, I can see the suffering of the youth. And it isn't happening just overnight. This will build up over time. Now, even in the case where the population of gambling, people make statements about people want money, but I think it's deeper than the money issue. Youth want engagement. They want to be, to be stimulated. So if we don't find a way, and I've been pressing that, including to the Prime Minister, the first time he was on GBN, that we need to have a community development approach to life in Grenada. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble, especially as we face certain existential threats like climate change and now the possibility of all the stuff that will come out from the war in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And respond to the caller.
He said one thing that I was wondering if I wanted to address, but it's so critical for me to do. In recent time, we've had a lot of correspondence coming to the police force, a lot of calls coming to the police force about gambling, public gambling. I want to answer this, but sometimes, when you educate people, sometimes it go against them. Gigi, in the old gaming, betting and lottery ordinance, there was a section, I think it's section 7, that gives the police the authority to disrupt gambling, arrest people, charge people. There's been a revision of that piece of legislation. Okay. And that section, either intentionally or inadvertently, was left out. What that has done, it has increased gambling across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, and it has tied the hands of the police force. That's all I'll say here.
So it means technically you can't do much about it.
Technically we can't do much about it. Except for the issue of loitering, the gambling itself, no.
All right. Call via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Go right ahead, please, and be brief.
Mr. Curwin, first I want to thank you and the RGPF and a great job over there. Mr. Curwin, my quick question to you. Okay, I know you're involved with dealing with crime. And one of the things that solve crime in New York City is having police and bicycles, So I want to know, what do you think that having police on bicycle armed and patrolling the street? Because based on the response that Grenada was upgraded to a grade 2, I want to know what you think about it. And a quick question, Mr. Curwin. Okay, one of your officers that retired recently, he used the term that the Prime Minister is bad for national security, and then we see that the kind of achievement that your guy had in 2025. How would you respond to that? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, let me deal briefly with the bicycle. I'm not sure bicycle is the way to go, and the reason for that is you would appreciate the fact that the terrain of Grenada, we're mountainous, we're hilly, so bicycles is not the best way to go for in some parts of Grenada. But I'll tell you what, we are currently working on a proposal to acquire over 30 motorbikes for that same purpose, not bicycles, motorbikes. Okay. And so that caller is spot on in terms of where we're going, what we're thinking. We're hoping that maybe, I don't know what time this year we'll be able to procure those bikes, but that's the purpose of it. So we can distribute it across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique to help us traffic management, help us with crimes and so forth. But in some cases, a bicycle wouldn't make it because we're just too hilly for that. But motorbikes are the way to go. I wouldn't want to comment much on the comment of the retired officer, except to say, and I'm not saying this here, this has nothing to do with politics. The most progressive, how do I want to say that? Or the government that has contributed most to the RGPF over my 40-year in this police force is this current government. And I'm saying that not because of any particular bias. I'm talking about asset acquisition. We have had more under this government for the last 3 years than perhaps we have had since independence. I spoke earlier on about a $2 million drone. I mean, our drone unit alone is enough money perhaps to pay our salaries for a couple of years. We have just built out a digital forensic unit. You don't want to know the cost of a piece of equipment we have just acquired that we have been asking for years. That costs in excess of almost $700,000. And to insure that piece of equipment alone, cost to purchase it, cost to insure it is over $1 million. And I'm just talking about two aspects of technology. What we have received the last year and a half alone surpass perhaps what we have received in the RGPF since independence. So when he says it's bad for national security, I respect his view. I don't know what perspective he's taking it from, but from where I sit, I believe that current Prime Minister have been working seriously with the RGPF in getting us what we want and getting us to the position where we need to be. And that's why we can be boasting about the achievements we have had in 2025, all because of government assistance to the force.
Thank you. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Be brief, please.
Happy New Year to you. And the RGPF, thank you for sharing with us this morning. I have two quick concerns. One is that from 2024, Ivan, we had some neighbors that came and live in our community, and we have been having problems from since then to now. We've been getting the police coming ever so often, and when we ask the reason why something is not done about it, for smoking, pollution, noise pollution, confusion making, whatever it is, we had one issue in one particular family, and the police keep coming, and when they're gone, the noise gone back on, the smoke is continuous for over all these years. And we asked the officers, well, okay, how much complaints do you need for something to be done? And up to this point, is how much years now? Over 20 years since Ivan. And we never had no justice about that. The second question is, what is the RGPF really about doing with the traffic congestion in regards to the vehicles parking on the road? And it's not unlawful. So my suggestion, and the suggestion my family had talked about, is putting tickets on them in the road and letting them know that they, and giving them a certain amount of time for maybe 5 times so they take their license from them. Because it's really unfair that we have to be whining all over the place to get into where we're going, spending hours to reach where we're going when some people take in the road as their parking space.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, caller.
All right, the first question first. If you don't think that you're getting the redress that you need, I would suggest that you come into the Community Relations Department regarding to the special location that you're talking about, so we can have a deeper dive into your complaints and what has happened over the years. That's one. Two, with regards to the parking, this is not something the RGPF can do in and of itself on its own. It has to be a collaborative effort with government. Where the public road is concerned, the government will have to determine what plans, strategy that is used. If you're parked in a no parking area, of course, you're going to get a ticket. If you're parked that you're likely to cause obstruction, fine, you're going to get a ticket. But for just parking on the roadway in and of itself is not something that RGPF has the authority to say, listen, you just can't park on the public road, period. Government will have to have some sort of policy to determine that, and it's going to be enforced by the police force once there is a law giving us the authority to do that.
We have another caller, and we'll take one more call after this one. We'll be final. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Right. My concern is after 9 at night, the police presence seem to be absent. One time there was a song about police station closed. Because after 10 o'clock in the night, you hardly see a uniform officer on outside. And then I live in an area in the south. And after that, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, there are vehicles racing up and down the Morris Bishop Highway. As a matter of fact, there are maybe one or two. They keep backfiring so loudly that they're waking people from their sleep. It's scary. And it seems as though nothing is being done about it because these things keep repeating itself. So I would really like for, as I said, this year is a drive for traffic management. So I'm looking forward to see what the police will be doing about these things. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
I don't think we can be all the place all the time. Police forces led by intelligence. You may see us in a particular place in the day. There might be a reason for that. We might still be in that place in the night, but you don't see us because you may not see the uniform. But we don't just put police in places because you want to see police. We police intelligently. We police by, you might see police officers in the day walking the street because there is a reason for that. In the night, if that particular area is one of our hotspots, you may not see the uniform, but it don't mean that police are not there. And he talks about Maurice Bishop Highway. I mean, we can't station on Maurice Bishop Highway for the entirety of the night. So even if we go there from 8 to 10, when we leave at 10, that situation can still happen between 12 and 1. But we can't be on Maurice Bishop Highway from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning because we believe that people are going to race on the highway. See, they are different, and the caller, and I want to say to the caller, it's people like him we're depending on to assist us addressing these issues. Who are the people that are racing? Do you know the number plate of these people? Yeah, because it has to be shared responsibility. You want us to do it? Yes, we want to do it, but we need your help in doing it. If we're not there, we don't know who. So can you make it your business to find out who, so you can say to us, like sometimes we see vehicles speeding, buses speeding, and somebody will send us the bus number. We're not there, but we have the bus number. We deal with the bus driver. So I want to implore on this caller. He's I understand his concern, and we want to work with him. Let's find a way that we can work together to avoid and prevent these things from happening.
One of the options too, I mean, of course, citizens may like, what can be done by the RGO to work as a deterrent for individuals wanting to do these issues that we hear people are complaining about?
You see, if the fines and the penalty is not stringent enough, people will feel they can keep doing these things. We do what we do. We make arrests, we charge, and we go to court. And I'm not going to bash anybody here, but I'm going to be factual. Sometimes the sentences we get in the court doesn't even make us want to go back out there and do the same thing again. Because sometimes I believe some magistrates are not in tune with what is happening in our society. They are not connected to the reality on the ground. There are some things that we do not need to treat trivially. We go there to keep our citizens safe. We make arrests, we charge, and we come to court. And you go to court, and sometimes when you hear the sentence, you have to ask yourself, did it what? Arresting, charging, going through all of that to bring somebody here to get what is a sentence, a slap on the wrist, and they go back out there, and tomorrow they do the same thing again. The sentence must act as a deterrent. You need to be forceful with the message you send to prevent citizens from continuing to do the things that affect us. If an infringement is a minor one, I expect a minor punishment for it. If an infringement is one that is causing public chaos, mayhem, I expect a particular magistrate, judge, or whoever to say this sentence must fit the crime and send a message that we do not want that in our society, and we're trying to get rid of it, we're trying to stamp it out. So I believe that's one of the issues here, but that is not going to deter us from doing what we have to do. Okay. If we have to arrest you 1,000,000 times, we will do that.
All right. We do take our final caller for the morning, and then we take a wrap for today's edition. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning to you, GT, and your followers, and to the police officer, Mr. Curwin. Let me again congratulate the force and, as by extension, the government on the improvement we've seen in the force over the years, and particularly over this last 3.5 years. It's ironic, though, that on Tuesday morning, just after I sent a congratulatory, I wrote that I didn't send it yet to the commissioner, congratulating him on the success of the year and the improvement we have observed. I had a running with the police that same morning, which I'm right now pursuing, and I may have to go to the court. But let me say just quickly on the matter of the promotion. I don't know if I missed something, but in addition to like the years of service and that examination, is there any kind of continuous assessment or job evaluation, peer review, or anything that is done? Because if it's an exam, some people are good at writing exams, they do things. I commended the force last year when they had a non-police officer as the HR, in charge of HR, and this is very good, very professional. But normally, unless I miss something, I think that the promotion should be based also on an assessment and evaluation of the person's performance, which can be corroborated by their superiors, their peers, and other things like that. It's difficult with human beings, yes, but to me, from what I heard, I think there are a couple of gaps that can be filled, and if these gaps are filled, then I guess it is more difficult for folks to feel that they are justified in making the kind of allegations that we're hearing about. But you're never going to be perfect. You'll never be able to please anyone. But I didn't hear anything indicating that there is some kind of review of performance as part of the promotion process. I may have missed it, but if I did, please let me know. Thank you,
caller. Thank you so much. That was our final caller for the morning. Respond to the caller.
Yes, caller. I did not list out all of the criteria, but there is a performance appraisal indicator that is considered as part of the process. There's a number of steps in the promotion process. I want to mention just a few, just to give an example that it is all encompassing. Every police officer is appraised every quarter of the year, and at the end of the year there is a full quarter appraisal. Performance appraisal is considered as part of the promotion process. So it's not one step, and as I indicated, you can fail one or two steps and still get promoted, because as the caller indicated, you may not be good at exams, so you might fail the written exam, but you might score very high in all of the other categories, and on an average you can still find yourself on the list to get you promoted. So yes, we do have that process, and there are a lot of other processes that are involved. And thanks for your comment about the HR individual. We are just moving the force forward in different dimensions.
As we go in, I want to thank you a whole lot for being on the program this morning. Pleasure to have you. So it's always great to listen. Of course, you speak in terms of the development of the RGPF, and certainly I want to also thank, of course, Commissioner Connaught for passing through this morning. I want to thank him, and I certainly hope we can have another engagement, of course, that you could express more in terms of the development of the RGPF. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, GT, and we are open to providing whatever information we can to our people.
Hey, that's where we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thanks to our listeners and viewers. Have a good one, folks. Goodbye.